Yo, I just watched Married at First Sight Australia season 13, episode 11, and yo, two of the couples are living in separate apartments. One of the dudes straight up disrespects Alessandra, the expert, and one of the brides just packs up her things and leaves the experiment, okay? Yeah, there's a lot that goes down in this episode. Let's talk about it.
Married at First Sight Australia, Kylie Minogue, Hugh Jackman, Iggy Azalea. We got singles whose dating life's been a failure. Let's meet them. We got Rachel, we got Steven, we got Elisa, David, Julia. We got Chris and Grayson, Juliet. Another Chris and Rachel, Gia. We got Becca, Rebecca, Philip and Stella, Brooke, Mella, Luke, Joel. Who else do we got? Steve. Danny and Scott. The drama's a lot, but it's love to be found. Stephanie Tyson, we holding it down. Bounce. This the recap. Grab a drink, get a savory or a sweet snack, and sit back as we unpack what happened, like back to back. Let's go, bro.
So Rebecca and Steve, they're not doing too good. So if you remember, in the last episode, Becca came through with the cute little outfit. She wanted to rock it, bring them closer together, turn the heat up, spice it up. And Steve was like, no, I'm a conservative kind of guy. I ain't into all that. And Rebecca, she felt kind of rejected. Now, in this episode, we find out that off camera, they had an even bigger argument. Steve accused her of not being on the show for the right reasons. She clapped back, and now here we are. Rebecca's like, I'm done. She dips. Steven's left alone in the apartment, and we hear his side of the story. And he goes, hey, she's a lot, okay? She's just way too much for me. Steven and Rebecca are not the only ones in the trenches. Steve and Rachel, they've woken up in separate apartments. Because remember in the last episode, Rachel put herself out there. She did up the whole cute Love Actually thing and went, kiss me. And Steve fumbled the bag like, hey, I'm not feeling that spark yet. And Rachel, she felt rejected. She felt undesired. So she dipped. Now, last episode was all about the women, their perfect night. But today is all about the fellas. Who let the dogs out? Woo, 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 woo. They link up with Alessandra and, they hit up the workshop and she wants to hear about, how the previous night went. We go around the room and everybody's talking about how much fun they had and how much closer they feel to their partners. Danny goes, hey, listen, after the arts and crafts, I got emotional. I wanted to cry. Now, I don't know if I mentioned this in the last episode, but Danny and Beck did up this arts and craft thingy where they painted words on each other, like, things they loved about each other. And I can see how it can bring two people closer together. I can see it. But me personally, if you wrote like handsome on my chest, say kind on my back, creative on my face, I'd be like, oh, that's so nice, babe. But then I'm all wet and sticky. I just want to wash it all off. Our favorite farmer, Luke, he got a little smile on his face. Alessandra clocks it. She's like, hey, this is the happiest I've seen you, bro. He goes, yeah, I'm starting to feel like myself again. Me and Mel are making eye contact. Eye contact, huh? That's where we at. That's what we're doing. But you know what? For them, this is good. Progress is progress, I guess. But listen, some good eye contact, like some undivided attention staring into your soul eye contact, that can hit different, okay? But I don't think that's what Mel and Luke have going on. Grayson. Now, Grayson's whole thing is he feels emasculated. He feels less of a man because Julia is leading things and dictating the pace of the relationship. Now, personally, I love a strong woman, okay? I love a strong woman. She knows who she is, what she wants. That's dope. But with these two, it's a little deeper than that. It's a bit more than just, her being stronger than him and, dictating things. I think it's a little bit deeper than that. I get why the experts bashed him up, because during Grayson's audition tape and interviews, he talked about how after getting injured and taking time off playing football, he was in a dark place and he took time off to work on himself and rediscover who he is. And he was looking for a partner who also had that depth. And I can relate with that because I love me a deep conversation. I love talking about hopes and dreams and fears and trauma and spirituality. I'm super curious and open-minded. I'm the guy in the friend group who gets private messages from the homies wanting to talk about things that they can't say in the group chat. So to an extent, I get Julia. I have homies, family members who are Julias. I've dated a few Julias. But what happens is eventually we get on each other's nerves, okay? Because we have a lot of similarities. We do. We can talk for hours and hours about the universe, about visualization and mental health and deeper connections. But for them, that's their entire personality. It's who they are. Every word that comes out of their mouth sounds like they're trying to be deep and profound. They use a lot of therapy words. Everything is vague and calculated. That's their entire personality. And for me, it's just a part of who I am. I'm also the guy who makes inappropriate jokes, okay? I'm also the guy who still watches cartoons, plays video games. There's a part of me that's super silly and goofy and doesn't take life too seriously, okay? I'm like a walking contradiction. Like, I will compliment your aura, your resilience, who you are as a person on a deep level. But I'm also going to point out that your titties look amazing in that top. What? If they look good, I'm going to point it out. I think that's what's going on with these two. I think Grayson does have some depth to him. I think he's being vulnerable and open, but it's not his entire personality. Also, listen, hear me out. This might be a bit of a controversial take, but I think Julia said she was open for a guy or a girl in this experiment, but I think secretly she was hoping for a girl, okay? That's just the vibe that I'm getting. I'm willing to bet that when they leave this experiment, Julia's next partner's gotta be a woman. I'm telling you. I can feel that vibe. Now, Steve, sweet Steve, things get messy for him in this episode because he explains the whole Rachel smooch situation. He goes, look, the way I see it, I had 3 options. Fake it, kiss her with no feelings, or just be honest. And of course, he chose honesty. Now, I don't think Steve was trying to be malicious. I don't think he was trying to hurt Rachel. I think his heart was in the right place. I think honesty, open communication, they're like the foundation of any great relationship. But none of that applies in this situation, Steve-O. None of that applies. Because look, according to him, he finds her attractive. He thinks she's beautiful. It's just that the vibe between them feels platonic. They've slipped into the friend zone energy. And Steve's approach is, let's carry on doing what we're doing, being who we're being. And with time, maybe that spark, that chemistry, that romantic connection develops, and then I'll feel ready. And when the time is right, I'll kiss you with passion. But here's the thing, okay? The quickest way to feel like a romantic couple is to do romantic things. The quickest way to feel closer to somebody is to do things that make you feel closer to them. The longer you go not kissing your partner, not doing things reserved for people who are into each other, the harder it gets to make that transition. You feel me? Your whole being needs to recognize that this person is more than just a homie. And sometimes it's instant, but sometimes you gotta do things that regular homies don't do to make it click, like, yup, that's my chick. You know what I'm saying? Danny, he puts it a little different. He goes, men used to go to war, and you can't kiss your missus? Grayson goes, hey, Steve, man, I know what Rachel's going through because I'm going through it, okay? Being rejected feels horrible. Stop messing her around. It's a rough time to be a guy named Steve on the show because older Steve, he's also going through it. But yo, he got nobody to blame but himself, okay? He starts off trying to spin the whole thing like, yo, when Rebecca showed me the little outfit, we talked about it and she agreed not to rock it out of respect. It low-key brought us closer together. Brother, why are you lying? Why are you lying? You do know that moment was captured on film, right? I think when people on shows like this, they're being filmed so much that they forget what moments were filmed, what moments the editors will use, and sometimes they mess up and we catch them slipping. Scott calls him out though, like, hey, that's cap. Even Alessandra's like, yeah, no. And now, Steve starts doing some Olympic level dodging, you know what I'm saying? Deflecting, trying to rewrite history, speaking in riddles. And Alessandra, oh, she's not having it, bro. And you can see Steve's mask slip a little bit. You see like a darker, weird side to him, you know what I'm saying? And Alessandra picks up on it. She hits him with the, hey, the way you're speaking to me is disrespectful, okay? Tread carefully. And I was like, ooh, you tell him, Alessandra. Steve then tries to get slick, talking about, well, you have an earpiece feeding you answers. And Alessandra, man, she checks him with a quickness. When Steve gets back to the apartment, Rebecca's waiting for him, and she's had it up to here. She's done. She goes, hey, I've tried everything, and you've given me nothing. She goes, I feel like I have to be half of myself around you. Woo! One more time for the people in the back. How many of y'all are in relationships, friendships, where you feel like you have to be half of yourself to be around those people? Can I get an amen? But yo, Steve doesn't back down. He's like, yes, you are too much for me. And listen, I think it's crazy, right? Because I know what being a lot looks like, okay? I know what being a lot, doing the most, saying wild things looks like. There are those who would describe me as being a lot. And I have some homies that could be considered as a lot. Rebecca, she isn't that, you know? And yo, shout out to Rebecca, because she stands up for herself. She goes, listen, I'm not too much. I'm just enough. He's the one that's not enough for me. Woo! Yeah, Becca, you tell him. Now, back to sweet Steve. My man rocks up with flowers, romantic, cute. We like it. He apologizes like, yo, I'm sorry, Rach. I could have handled it better. Rachel melts instantly. She's like, yes, this is so sweet. Then they receive a little note from the experts like, yo, you got to kiss for 3 minutes. Steve's like, I don't know, man. 3 minutes is a long time, bro. Rach is like, hey, no pressure. I don't want the first kiss to be 3 minutes long either. Steve kind of hesitates a bit, but then he goes for it, okay? They kiss. It's awkward. It's stiff. It's low-key weird, okay? But, like, it's kind of sweet. Like, it's kind of cute. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't gonna hold you. And, yo, Rachel's blushing. She loves it, bro. She's like, the boy I like just kissed me. Aww. Now we check in with Chris. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I am low-key beginning to like Chris a bit more. I think his mom's was right at the wedding, because she said, hey, he's a really lovely guy if you look past the whole macho front that he puts on. And I can honestly say he's had the most growth, development out of everybody on the show. It's just a shame he's matched up with Brooke. I mean, we got Chris in one room talking about, she's my dream girl. I've never felt like this. Meanwhile, Brooke is in the other room talking about, I feel smothered. Oh, no. So Chris sets up candles, wine, face masks. My man built a whole spa night. But then Brooke just dips, okay? Off camera. She packs up her things, catches a flight, leaves the experiment. And this is what I was saying about Chris, man. He doesn't say anything bad about Brooke. He just seems genuinely sad. He goes, yo, she's gone, and I'm here by myself, and I feel defeated. Now, bigger picture, he's dodged a bullet, okay? Because Brooke is the worst. But I still find myself feeling bad for the guy. And yo, that was the episode. If you've made it this far, thank you so much. Please don't forget to give the video a like. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And yo, until next time, you take care of yourself, fam, because I love you.